Good morning, everybody. So I'm going to tell you two quick stories. One from when I kind of first started my journey in learning and experiencing the Holy Spirit. So right after I graduated from college, I was really interested in learning about the Holy Spirit's role in my faith life. And so I got invited to go to a women's Bible study with a bunch of women who were like more on the what people might say like charismatic side or Pentecostal end. So I went to this Bible study and it was very uncomfortable. So there was lots of different ways to worship, things that I wasn't used to. And at one of the studies, this woman came up to me and she was like, "Would you like to pray in tongues?" And I was like, "Sure, I'm trying to be open, like whatever God has, So I was like, "Sure." So she starts to pray for me, and I'm like, keeping an eye open, like what's happening. She starts to pray for me, and I'm like, okay, this is really weird. There's other people around me, and they're praying in tongues, and I'm like, I feel very uncomfortable, not used to this. And then for the first time in my life, I had this very, out-of-body experience. So all of a sudden, I'm, looking at myself from, the corner of the room, and I start speaking in tongues, and I am like, this is really weird. What is happening? And then I'm, watching this situation unfold where I'm speaking in tongues, and these ladies are around me speaking in tongues, and people sometimes call it, the holy laughter. I just start cracking up because I'm like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever done. And so I'm just laughing. Just the whole time, just laughing, and then I don't even know how that time ended, but that was one of my first very unusual, different than my normal experiences with the Holy Spirit, and that kind of just launched me into this. I have lots of questions, I want to learn, but I want to be open, because God doesn't fit into this box that I have. So that was the first experience. Then I wanted to talk about, Jake said, in the last 3 weeks, so that was outside of the 3 weeks, but so something that the Holy Spirit's been doing in me lately is, so when if you didn't know, we've been on this journey with the tiny homes. So when we were at the very first MAC meeting we went to, I was giving this presentation to the MAC board about the tiny homes and what we were hoping to do, and I was feeling a little nervous going up, and so right before I went up, felt like the Holy Spirit said to me, "Don't bow." And I was like, okay, that helps me feel maybe a little more confident, and I went up. But I didn't really see the fullness of what that word was to me. So if you didn't know, this has been a long process for the tiny homes. If you've been reading the Castro Valley Forum, we've been in the forum once or twice. So every time we've been to the Castro Valley MAC or done anything in the county with tiny homes or even the redevelopment, I felt like God has reminded me of that word, don't bow. Because there have been people that maybe aren't as excited as this community is about what God's doing and housing people that need housing. And so I feel a little intimidated going into those meetings because I don't have a housing background. I don't know anything about building anything. So when we go to these meetings and people know a lot of stuff and I don't know that much stuff, I keep being reminded of the Holy Spirit's word to me to not bow to people that I think are smarter than me or know more than me. And so that's really sustained me as we've been through this whole process. So that's what the Holy Spirit's doing in me. I feel really comforted by his word and knowing that he is giving me power in places where I feel totally insufficient for what I'm doing. So